Shitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
Hello. That's my kind of slightly croaky throat. Forgive me for that, listeners, but yes, hi. How's it going?
Good.
And what are we doing this week, Trevor?
Oh, click pitch.
Click pitch? All right.
Click it to pitch.
For a change. Let's do some click pitch for a change.
You want to tell our listening audience?
Well, I was going to say, should we do continuous click pitch?
Oh, I suppose we can give it a go. So why don't you tell our listening audience what continuous click pitch is?
Okay, so regular old click pitch is where we have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3, 2, 1 click, we each get a random word, say it out loud, jam them together into a game design. What we add with continuous click pitch is we then take an element that we decide from the previous game and bring that into the next game. So we sort of just, continue a thread throughout the whole episode between all the games.
Mm-hmm.
So
very loose thread.
Yeah, it was very much
if you pull on it too hard, it's going to unravel the whole thing. So please don't pull.
Definitely don't do that. You'll just end up with a pile of podcast thread on the floor, and nobody wants that.
No. 3, 2, 1 click.
Mm-hmm. Inoculation.
Story. And from the previous thing that we were just talking about, I think thread.
There you go. Sure. Okay. I wonder if this is a world where you can be inoculated against fiction.
Inoculated against fake news.
If only. I mean, I guess it could just be story could just mean we're going down some narrative route, or some sort of framing device around a storybook, or somebody telling a story.
Yep.
Gather round, children, and come and listen to about the first time I was inoculated against polio.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of maybe a journalist pulling a couple of threads from like some idea, like from some of his sources, different people as he talks down through like his informants or his sources, he finds out about some story that's happening around inoculations and that sort of stuff, like this brand new vaccine that's just come out, and maybe a sinister sort of twist on. Or
you play a story wizard and you're literally writing stories from physical thread in some way. No, okay, we can go with your idea. Some sort of conspiracy thing, and so do you play the reporter, I guess? Yeah. I think playing the reporter is probably a logical place to go from. I kind of like the idea that it's sort of like you're following up on a couple of different tips that you've got on like a hotline or something like that. And so talking to these people, you're just trying to look for your next story that you're going to write, and then as you go down and you start being able to connect some of these threads together of what these people have actually said, you notice that there's like this one company that keeps on coming up. Can we bring the thread thing into it in a visual way? Perhaps this person
is a spider.
No, I was just going to say perhaps this person is into sewing. No, well, it could just be that like.
But now I really want to play an anthropomorphic spider in this like world in which you're a spider that sort of control up walls and stuff like that, and you're a your online journal or online blog of whatever is called like Web of Lies or something like that, and you're a physical spider, and so
okay.
you're
no, that's fine. They can be a spider.
Yeah.
What I was thinking with the threads though is like in any investigation, you've always got like your board with all the threads connecting things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like we use that.
The difference is that you use one of your 8 legs to like pull the thread out of your butt and
well, exactly.
you can sort of run it through like
it's your own personal thread. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your own personal thread, and you can color it red.
Yeah, you've got a little colorizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like the way I was thinking of bringing it in visually is that each thread, each sort of lead is a different color, and so you can kind of like then they start like twisting around each other and stuff as you connect things with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was thinking of some cool visuals around like as these different story threads come together, they combine, and it gives you an indication of like how close you are or something.
So for this spider reporter, I'm thinking that the whole world is this anthropomorphized world which animals have come to exist.
Oh, it's not just one like mutated spider hiding in the shadows. It's kind of like the idea of them trying to bring.
It's a single man spider instead of Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm loving the idea of them like being the deep throat for someone else, and it's just like in the shadows, this 8-legged thing.
Yeah, you kind of look. You see a silhouette, and it's like as you're looking down, you see 2 arms, and then 2 arms, and then 2 arms, and it's like, hang on,
yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, all coming out of the trench coat.
Yep.
Well, maybe as part of the inoculation thing, what it is that this spider bit a child directly after they were inoculated with something, and this is what happened. Like they were just a regular old spider.
Yep.
And that's how they know that there's something dodgy going on with the inoculations, and they're trying to track down what it was and where this kid is and what happened to them.
And then you hear about this mysterious
family.
like spider superhero.
Oh, it's unrelated. It's unrelated. It's unrelated to the famous spider superhero universe.
Yep. What I kind of like is that
Arachnoboy.
You actually find out that no, all your venom you pumped so much into this kid that he died, and yeah, you got to live with that.
And you got okay. Were other kids inoculated with this stuff though?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or does it only affect spiders? Like, is it just
maybe the inoculation is actually from spider DNA or something like that? So you actually think that you came to be from this kid getting an injection and you turn into a spider, but it turns out that nope, you happen to be nearby. The kid died, but then somehow the memories got transferred across.
No, what I was thinking is the big reveal is you are the kid. Like you merged with the kid. The kid and the spider merged together somehow.
A la The Fly.
Yeah, kind of The Fly kind of situation. Like this inoculation, this compound, bound their DNA together, the DNA of the child and the spider.
Mm-hmm.
And they woke up the next day, but they only had the spider's memories. But just because.
But how big is the spider? Is it like a man spider?
Yeah, I think it's man spider.
Cartoonish sort of world, so it's not a scary, huge spider.
No, it's not more like big, hairy, creepy, it's got humanoid.
It's like a cartoon spider with a big smile and just a single
like
2 eyes sort of thing
on the front of the spider,
but wearing like a fedora and a trench coat.
Yeah, exactly.
With hastily sewn on arms.
Onto the trench coat. Yeah. Yes.
Like patches everywhere. Okay, so I'm thinking that the company that actually did this, they weren't licensed for like human testing at the time. And they've gone on since to like make all these other enhancements for bodies and all this sort of stuff.
Okay.
They sort of got out of the inoculation sort of business and went into body modification instead.
Well, I feel like maybe this was a shifty way for them to do human testing.
Yeah.
They're like, we're giving out free flu shots because we're an ethical company, an ethical drug company. Oxymoron. But what they were actually doing is, select individuals would get this
placebo and
their own
others.
drugs, like in there instead. And then they basically like track them down and follow the results and see if they died or not. So it's super evil.
Yeah.
But as a result of that, this was like, maybe it took a while for this metamorphosis to happen. So it's been a year or two even. The spider has no memory of the past couple of years, except, since that day, the last thing it knows, it bit this child and scuttled off. But now this company is like this hugely successful thing with, they're like body mod drugs and...
Yeah. I'm thinking, it's like 20 years later sort of thing. So you've gradually pieced your life together and, it was around the time that I'm just trying to think whether this company is actually being picked out for having done, some dodgy shit, or whether they just got away with it because they...
No, I think they got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They stay... That's it. Once their first few, actual body mod drugs got off the ground, on the back of this illegal human testing, they became hugely successful. They didn't really need to do it anymore. They shelved that whole program.
So how many other anthropomorphic animals are there in this world? I think there's got to be a few, otherwise people wouldn't want to talk to a human spider.
I don't think there are any. I think that's part of the challenge. So you do have to like hide in shadows and deep throat everything.
Oh, but I kind of want this to be like I kind of want this to be similar to the Happy Time Murders.
Oh, I see.
Where sort of like at one point in history, like there's all these sort of anthropomorphic animals.
Well, what it is then is these body mod drugs they've been selling are literally to bind animal DNA with humans.
Okay, yep.
Right?
So you got like Shark Boy and...
Yeah, so you've just got all these mostly humans with animal parts, but you're mostly a spider. And everyone's like, whoa, like you've gone all out. Like, where did you get that one? I haven't seen that on the market.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Why does that girl over there have a lobster claw?
I kind of like the idea that the first sort of people that you talk to, the first part of the game could almost be in first person, so that you don't quite know what you look like, and there's like a reveal at the end of the prologue.
Yeah,
sort of thing. Like you're talking to 3 or 4 different people, and they're all sort of like caught staring at you, and it's like, what's the matter? And it's like, oh, nothing. So I used to work for this company, and then that company comes up again, and basically you can track it back to this company is involved in something nefarious because all these people who had these modifications all go back to this company, and they all remember getting inoculations or something like that from this company. And that's where it sort of starts.
Well, and I think you've got a memory of like the boy's name, and you're like, okay, well, this is my lead. This is my major lead. I've got to find out what happened to this boy. And you track it back, and you find out, boy disappears after inoculation or whatever. But then you track down the inoculations, and you're like, they were provided by this company, and that matches up to people you've spoken to, that's sort of the
they're like a subsidiary of this. Of,
there's like shell companies and stuff, and you manage to sort of sort all that out.
Inocular core like or something like that.
In the prologue, what was that?
Inocular core.
Inocular core. In the prologue, I kind of like the idea of bringing back, I think we talked about this last week in a completely separate context, of like at one point there's just a third hand in your first person view, like just really subtly. And you're just like, wait, what does that? Oh, it's nothing. Because I'm picturing this humanoid spider to have like human hands on the end of its huge legs.
Oh yeah. And you see the trench coat sort of thing, but then at one point it slips down and you see like a hairy, not human arm.
Yeah, like there's kind of big gross hairs. And then at the end, you have the touching scene with the like reunited with your parents after you figure out that you are this child. And they have to like embrace this giant gross spider creature.
They're hugging and dry retching at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, I missed you so much. I missed you so much, son. I love you.
Why are you so fucking disgusting?
What's that smell? All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
God.
What are we bringing in from that game? Bad smells?
Hang on.
Reconciliation with your parents?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Not sure. Let's have a listen to the words and then we'll choose what we'll bring in.
All right. That's cheating, I think. But anyway. Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
Yep. Settle.
Harp.
Settle, harp, and reunited with parents.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so immediately I'm picturing it. This is your character has just died and has gone to heaven.
Yep. That makes sense for the harp. Got an old classic Angel on a Cloud.
Here's a harp and the first person they meet at the gates
is their harp tutor.
I'm thinking their parents. Okay. So their parents are actually at the gates and basically saying, I'm thinking something around you weren't supposed to die yet, but due to an arrangement that you've they've sort of come to for them to get into heaven, you need to go back and settle their account.
Okay. Oh, this could go well with what I was thinking, because I had this image of, you get to the gates, the first people you see there are your parents, and you go, why are you here? You're not dead. And it turns out there's some sort of imposters down on Earth.
Yeah.
Who killed your parents and took their place.
Yeah,
and that's part of what has to be settled as this.
Yeah. I was just thinking the idea of, in order for your actual parents to get into heaven, there's certain things that need to be done on Earth, and they've sort of twisted things to get you to come up to heaven so they can get you back down there with a message of, here is what you need to do in order for us to get into heaven. And it's some bad shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea that heaven is totally not infallible. There are all these loopholes and backdoor deals going on. And it's actually totally if you know the right people and can silver the right palms, then you can totally just get someone killed and then brought up and then sent back with a message, send messages back and forth.
So I think that happens, they send you back and then all of a sudden you wake up in an ambulance and it's oh, thought we lost you. And that's sort of where this whole thing starts. And now you're up against, maybe they're saying that you need to find this at our place and then, do something about the imposters that have taken over our life. The twist being that they're actually imposters up in heaven that have tricked you into doing some bad shit into
killing your own parents or damning them to hell or something.
Yeah. And I kind of like the idea that, it's sort of like that BioShock twist kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every now and again, you'll see an animal and their eyes all sort of glaze over and then all of a sudden they'll start talking to you as the parents. Sort of saying, right, now you can go do this. And it's sort of you start realizing that it's not quite right what they're asking you to do.
Yeah, yeah. And the types of animals they take over are really suspect as well. It's ravens and centipedes and toads. Yeah.
There was an eagle, but it looked evil.
There was an eagle, but it was a prick. And then went and killed a dove.
But I just kind of like this idea of this game.
Yeah, that's a good setup. What sort of game are we thinking?
I'm thinking some sort of first person.
Okay.
Sort of, not necessarily like a walking simulator as such, but kind of like a cross between a walking simulator with some first-person elements, as in first-person shooter elements.
All right. Yeah, so maybe like a bit more. There are some action-ish scenes, but it's not an FPS in like you've got a backpack full of weapons.
Yeah. There's a possibility that throughout this one part that yes, you are going to have like a melee weapon, or you're going to have like a pistol, but it only has like 7 bullets.
It's for dramatic, but like when you use these things, it's it's when the situation calls for it. I'm kind of forgetting a bit of what was the Pitch Black game? Was it Pitch Black, or was it the Chronicles? The Chronicles of
Riddick, yep.
Yeah, just where you had a bit of like, first person combat. And I think it went to a bit more sort of FPS-ish stuff later on, but particularly those early levels where you're around the prison and stuff. It's mostly puzzle solving and exposition in first person, but you've got some brawling and some melee combat and stuff.
I kind of like the idea that your parents are almost like the Steve Jobs or Bill Gates sort of philanthropists sort of thing. Like they're really quite rich, so you've got a sprawling estate that you can sort of go through when you finally get there.
Yeah, I like it being fairly open.
And while you're there, you're trying to sort of almost do a Hitman-esque sort of accident. So that you're going through trying to set up some traps and that sort of stuff. Just because I think that works quite well with the slowness that you obviously don't want to have it that. Yep, you can go in with a gun and just sort of do that. I like that if you pick up the gun.
Well, no, they've got security and stuff, right? Like, yeah. It has to seem like an accident.
But I like that if you pick up a gun, like, there's an animal that comes in and goes, well, you can't just shoot them. Because it has to look like an accident.
Yeah, I like that idea that in most locations there are animals around, or they will appear, like, and that it's actually a fairly constant kind of background banter.
Yeah, they're kind of like the angel and demon on your shoulder sort of thing.
Yeah.
That could be really
that's
cool.
good, because that could give you some real interesting guidance and some funny, dialogue, and you never know where it's going to come from. Yep. So you're like searching through files because, these demons have told you that all this wealth is ill-gotten gains by demons who have taken over your parents. The imposters have told you this.
Yeah.
And so, you're like searching through their files. You're trying to find evidence of it. And as you're searching, this like rat comes out of a hole in the wall. It's like, no, you're looking in the wrong place, buddy.
What are you doing looking there?
Someone's coming. You're taking too long.
I'll be on the lookout. Take that gun. Don't use it.
Take that gun. Take that gun. Whispering in your ear, and then you find out it's an ant on your shoulder. I like that. That's really interesting. And then you obviously you don't find any evidence of this, and maybe you start getting suspicious. But of course, you've got all these fucking random creepy animals telling you what to do, and you don't know whether to trust them or not. And you could have some really interesting, like, tense moments in that first-person perspective.
Oh, yeah, and how claustrophobic it feels. I mean, if you've played Resident Evil 7, you know how claustrophobic a first-person in a house can actually be. Like, it's certainly not a fun thing, and especially when you think that your parents are actually imposters, and...
Well, that's it. You can really bring in some creepy elements.
You look in the fridge for something, you close it, and then you look to the side, and there's your dad just standing there, and he just doesn't look quite right.
Yeah, but again, like, that's only because of what you've been told. He's actually just an alcoholic, and he was getting some vodka.
Yeah.
And he looks a bit off because he's just mostly drunk.
Yeah.
But I love that idea that you've been, they've poisoned the well. You now think your parents are demons.
Yeah.
And so every little thing you're going to pass off as that.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
And especially in that first person view, it's just, I did like how every now and again in Resident Evil 7, like, it would take over and do something.
Yeah.
To then show you sort of like from the first person perspective that, look, this is kind of like a movie sort of thing. you've gone to look in here. Now we'll take over the camera just for a second, show you what we want to do, and now, you're back in control again.
Yeah, exactly. It's
seamless that felt. Like, I remember watching... It's
quite good. And compared to, like, the Half-Life 2 kind of, they very purposefully didn't take control away from you, which is fine for that, but I agree that when done right, it can be very powerful and make you feel, and can be very immersive. Like,
I remember watching a speedrun of Resident Evil 7, and it's like, you don't even know where they're taking control and where they're not. Because as much as I've played the game, I haven't actually played it to the point that I know every single thing that is scripted and what isn't scripted, and it's like...
Oh, of course.
It just looks so seamless when you see something like that. It's, it could really work well in this sort of game and hold that terror thing.
So how does this end?
Well, I think you got two endings, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You've got one where you don't take the clues that you've sort of been given throughout, and you end up killing your parents, and then it actually then goes to show that the imposters breach heaven's sanctity and end up like destroying and corrupting heaven and dooming everyone to basically
all planes of existence.
Go to the bad place, or that you don't do the you obviously end up either not necessarily killing yourself, but working out a way that you can take out, or you can almost do nothing, and that's sort of like the neutral ending, or you can
I think in the neutral ending obviously in all the endings it's revealed that actually no, these are your parents on Earth.
Yeah.
The neutral ending is that you haven't done anything specific to thwart the demons, and so...
But you also haven't killed your parents, so you're sort of in a happy way that way.
Yeah, they're still alive, but
the imposters are now going after someone else, and they're going to try and do the same thing again.
Well, they just like I think the epilogue is just they succeeded, and now you're with your parents. That's fantastic, but it's hell on Earth.
Yeah. And then the final good ending is maybe some sort of electric shock that sends you up to heaven again to have a final battle sort of thing.
Oh yeah, you do the whole kill me for 2 minutes and then resuscitate me.
Yeah, through some sort of conversational thing that you can have with your parents sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If I come back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that narrative hook and the couple of twists and turns in there.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Always fun. And the whole claustrophobic first person puzzle
and the horror that you can sort of go down, like the route.
Yeah, look, I don't think I'd want to go too far on the real.
It's more of a thriller sort of thing.
It's a thriller, exactly. Yeah,
it's not gore thrillers. And stuff. I haven't seen a good thriller for ages.
Movie or game?
Either. It actually makes me really want to go back and play all the way through What Remains of Edith Finch, because that's kind of thrillery.
That was good. Yeah,
haven't actually played anything more than sort of like the first 2 seconds of it. I sort of installed it and then just didn't play it.
It bounced off it. It happens.
Yep, it happens.
All right,
3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click. And what are we taking from the previous game?
Your choice this time. I chose last time.
Fair enough. Alcoholism.
Oh, God. Yep, okay.
And my word is litigation.
And my word is soul. S-O-L-E, not S-O-U-L.
Good. Because otherwise it's the same game almost. Or at least would have been in the same universe. Okay, so you're a fish. Or a cobbler.
Yeah, I was thinking cobbler. Where'd fish come from?
Soul is a type of fish.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a fish litigator. An alcoholic fish litigator.
An alcoholic fish litigator.
I got like this.
Okay. That's actually a pretty good character. Now, again, as when we do anthropomorphic animals, are they the only one?
No.
They just a fish in a bowl at the stand. No, okay. So this is let's think of the world. Is this a Zootopia style? Everyone, all the animals live together and get along.
Okay, it's a Zootopia style.
Kinda...
It's a Zootopia style, land, but all the fish folk under the sea don't know anything about
under the sea.
People who are up above. As far as they're concerned, there's nothing but sea.
Right. Okay.
They know that there's a world above, but
is this a literal fish out of water story then? Does this fish just find this whole new land of?
I think maybe as part of the litigation and that sort of stuff, and the cases that they're going over, there can be some ideas that are being thrown around that there's more to the world than just water. And maybe in the third act, then you can be introduced to the wider world.
Is it that these fish have never met amphibians?
I think a judge
this is
in this is this old turtle, so they sort of know about the idea of amphibious life. But as far as they're concerned, they stay away from all sorts of life up there, because too many people get taken when they go.
That's fine, except I really wanted the lawyer on the other side to be a litigator.
A literal gator.
But they know about the world, so maybe we can't do that.
So that'd have to be saltwater croc.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess otherwise they wouldn't be in the same place.
Crocs aren't gators, so...
No, I know. I am aware. All right, so, okay, let's stick... That's fine. I really just wanted to make that pun, so I don't care about putting it in the story. So it's the world of fish and undersea creatures. They don't really know anything about above the water. How deep sea are these fish?
Okay. It's based around the Great Barrier Reef.
Okay.
And in this world, you as a litigator are basically going up against these other companies or schools of fish that you believe that they're the ones that are causing this huge bleaching event. Okay.
Yep. And so this ends up being the Great Barrier Reef versus humanity.
Yeah, and basically it's sort of their whole thing is just filing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit sort of thing. So against all these different companies, basically all threatening them the same thing. And sort of going through and doing all these court cases against these companies.
Fish companies.
Until finally you find out in the third act that there's actual people who are living up above the land, and they're the ones that are sort of doing it. And I think the final case is you as a fish, trying to take your case to the land courts.
I do love this this final dramatic scene where everyone's well, there's nothing we can do about it. They're up there, we're down here, and this soul
out of nowhere, this scientist comes out and goes, "Well, I've worked out this fishbowl robot."
No. I was going to say this great dramatic thing where this fish beaches itself because it's no, I'm going to do it. It's got its brief under its fin. It's just going to take to the human courts. It's just jumps up and back into the water and jumps up and back into the water and finally makes its way up onto land. It's there flopping away. And then it cuts to black. That's the end. You don't know if it happens or not. It's just this final, it's this final, desperate moment. And this whole game is totally just, a climate change allegory.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So what's the gameplay? It's just signing documents.
Yeah,
what
I
do
think
they
it's,
use?
Yeah,
underwater to like
squid ink
on seaweed.
Seaweed or shells or something like that.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you thought it through.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, sure.
I got nothing else.
That's fine.
Portability.
Marvel. And...
Yeah, my choice.
Oh, yeah.
Yours was more Marvel, mine was portability, and the thing that we're going to bring through is choking.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea, or suffocating, as it were.
Suffocating.
Yeah.
All right. Marvel, portability, and suffocating.
Okay, with suffocating and portability, I'm sort of seeing that this is a world that's gone through, like, a lot of sort of changes over the time.
Yep.
And the air outside is now toxic to humans. And so you've got like a portable air mask sort of thing that you can go outside for small amounts of time, but the radiation and all this other sort of stuff is kind of damaging.
Mm-hmm. I like that mechanic.
So therefore, you can only be seeing the outside world for a very small amount of time, and it's all about, ever since you were a kid, you've sort of marveled at this whole idea about the outside and the sun and these things that you've been taught as a kid.
Yeah, okay. I'm kind of picturing this as a bit of a roguelike survival kind of game, almost a bit of the Flame of the Flood or something like that, but
yeah, kind of procedurally.
It's procedurally generated. You're making your way from safety zone to safety zone, basically, whether it's a sealed off building or an underground bunker or whatever, a car, just something where you don't have to wear this mask, or where you can find, new oxygen tanks and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mostly desolate, but obviously you run into, pockets of survivors and things.
Yep.
Is it party-based, maybe, even? Like small, like max 3, but I'm just sort of...
Yeah, that could work. I mean, I already know what my twist is going to be, because of course I've got a twist.
Yeah, let's work up to it.
Yep.
So yeah, because I like that idea of the whole, limited time out in this toxic mist, toxic clouds.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to make sure that safe zones aren't too few and far between, obviously. And you probably, you can survive a bit once you completely run out of oxygen, but it's gonna do a bit of permanent damage that takes a while to heal.
Yeah, I think when you're in, you've got kind of like a rebreather sort of situation that, it's got a certain amount of
like filtering
that it can do in certain areas. Obviously the more dense this mist is, the worse it actually gets, and it's all about, if you can sort of get to a safe zone, then everything, you got a small little oxygen tank that can actually automatically regenerate just by standing in the area. So it's kind of almost like if you think back to Super Mario Sunshine, where you had the water that you could stand in and you refill up your water very, very quickly. The whole idea being that we don't want you to have to go and find oxygen tanks. It's more, all you got to do is, if you can find a place that you can
is free of the mist,
basically more oxygen, you've got a checkpoint that you can go out from now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that idea of different densities of the mist then, because basically your rebreather is taking oxygen from the air and filtering out the mist. Yeah. And so the less mist, the faster it can do that. And so at some point, if you're in some mist, like you can be in a little bit of mist with this thing, and then there's an equilibrium, right? Like you're not losing any, you're not gaining any. And so, to refresh, you need to find those sort of rarer areas that are sealed off from the mist.
Yeah. So I'm picturing that you're in like this massive sort of city with these futuristic-y cars.
Yeah.
Kind of abandoned and all this sort of stuff. Maybe you see some skeletons in the sitting in the middle of some of these cars and traffic and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like this real, I Am Legend style.
Yeah.
Sign of almost desolation, but there's occasional survivors that you come across. Yeah. Leading up to sort of like where you're actually trying to get to is, I'm thinking that it's either your son or daughter or something like that who is actually rather sick, and you're trying to get like medication for them. You need to go out and find it. That's sort of like your MacGuffin that you're going out for.
Yeah.
But leading up to the actual twist that your character has always sort of known, but we haven't known, is that you're not on Earth. Like this is a world that they've terraformed, but something went wrong in the terraforming that actually caused basically this mist to actually get released from the center of the Earth, sort of thing.
Oh, I love that idea of. Well, I feel like what it is that the mist is naturally occurring on the planet.
Yeah, and maybe it lasts for X number of years, and it's like every 100 years is like this. There's 100 years without, and then 500 years of the mist, and then something like that. Like it's a
and so humans happened to land there when it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, but I kind of like this idea of, the standard kind of terraforming things is like, big domes, right? Big domed cities. But this dome is so big that, you unless you're right at the edge, you don't realize. And so I like this idea of, marveling of, one day I'll see the sun.
Yeah.
And that there's a moment where you reach this jagged edge of this terraformed dome.
And you see like 30 other domes just out there.
Yeah. And you look up at the sky and you see like,
it's purple.
A different colored sky, a different huge sun.
Purple sky, red
like
sun.
Like a blue, or like a cold red sun or a hotter, whatever, right? Like, and that's kind of your reveal moment. And your character isn't surprised.
Yeah.
But then they say something like, ever since us humans terraformed this planet and failed miserably. And the player's like, what? You didn't tell me that 6 hours ago?
But, it's not a massive twist, but it's just enough to sort of say, look, this is the reason why this mist exists in the world, because it's alien. Like, it's... Yeah. But
I like that, because you can have people throughout the world, people you meet, they're like, oh, this fucking mist, like it ruined everything, our wonderful cities, but without specifically, because I think it's been, 100 years since humans colonized, and they're settled there.
Your entire life, all you've known is the mist.
Yeah, you're like third generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of, your grandfather on his deathbed telling you stories about when he was a kid and running through the fields and all this sort of stuff, and just giving little hints throughout the game that things, aren't quite right.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, the player will just put that down to, because, this mysterious mist sort of came and, and it's the future. And I like that. That's a really interesting little take on that. And then, the gameplay itself, I like that idea of a party-based survival, kind of action survival, I guess. You'd come across creatures. Well, I like that as well. You come across sort of creatures you assume are mutated versions of Earth creatures or something.
Yeah, but in reality, they're just native fauna.
Yeah,
native fauna and flora that is just quite deadly.
Yeah. It's just overtaking your city, taking your city back, basically.
So I'm thinking that you start kind of dead center in the dome, and you've got maybe like a 5 kilometers to the edge sort of thing in the city that. You can sort of head out and you can... I remember there was a game that we did a while ago. I can't remember. It was sort of like a snow-based game in which you sort of would go out a little bit further each time to try and see if you could find something else, because obviously if you went too far, then, you basically... you were past the point of no return.
Yeah.
With it being a roguelike and that sort of stuff, I like the idea of... the intro video you can sort of skip. And, the intro video sort of sets up your story.
And
how far can you get it to the edge? Can you can you find the thing this time? And then you can set a higher difficulty that you're now, okay, there's certain ways through this maze, as it were.
Yeah. Well, and I like the idea of that sort of going out on expeditions and coming back because, you've got your sick kid and you're having to keep them alive. And so you have to go out and find things and craft things to get the right, medicine or healing stuff. But also, obviously, at the same time, I'm almost picturing even a bit of Subnautica where you start crafting things that let you go further, right?
Yep.
Because Subnautica is a bit like that. You kind of go off because, during the day or whatever, you need to find stuff and then you're running out of oxygen or your inventory's filling up, so you go back to your home base kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of loop to it that, lets you go further and further. Maybe you even eventually get vehicles or you clear paths or something so that you can take vehicles through.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you eventually reach the outer edge of this dome, and that's kind of your win condition.
Yeah, and the idea about that, you can find, upgraded versions of rebreathers at different areas that basically say if you find one of these random rebreathers, then you can now go through thicker fog earlier, than what you could.
Yeah, they're
if
basically
you
more efficient, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of cool random events and then different craftables that, again, it's all based on the procedural generation of the area to be able to find certain types of materials that let you basically have different options for, or I'm going to focus on more efficient rebreathers, or I'm going to focus on, clearing a path for vehicles, or I'm going to focus on, maybe you can even get your child well enough to come with you or something, so that
I'm going to focus this time on killing as much local fauna as possible because, I can craft new weapons because of it. And
better weaponry and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm picturing that if I think about Binding of Isaac and that sort of stuff, there's a reason why people keep going back to playing that, because there's just this random element that you can't really see everything that there is to see in the game in one hit.
Well, and just the challenge of it then too, right? Because it's procedurally generated, if you want more of a challenge, you make it a bigger dome, right? They've got further to travel or something, or you switch up the frequency of the sort of biomes, as it were, like the different areas of the city that are going to be more likely to have different types of resources and stuff.
Kind of thinking if you were to look at, say, Melbourne, you've got, sort of a mall sort of area that you can walk through.
Yeah.
Then you got a high-rise area, and then you got, sort of back alleys, and then you got Chinatown sort of ideas.
Yeah.
But they're different biomes, as it were.
Yeah, it's still a city.
Yeah.
But it's different types of buildings, and you're going to find different, you've got an industrial section, so you're more likely to find certain types of chemicals and things that you might need for, medical supplies or whatever.
But yeah, the idea of it being sort of a little bit more randomized than what Subnautica is, which is just they kind of randomize your start location, but that's about it. The whole map is always the same.
No, I think this is
more about there's a grid sort of thing of the city, and you can have random buildings on each sort of block.
Well, and it doesn't. There are plenty of ways to randomly generate a city like that, particularly if you're not too worried about realism of how people would move around and stuff. I think you could pretty easily generate a series of streets that, they'd probably be mostly grid-like in the middle, but then they might sort of start meandering in different ways.
Yeah. But the good thing is, because of the mist, you can actually, stop them from going down certain directions that they may want to actually go. Because you just randomly put in the mist. It's well, you're not going this way this time.
Yeah, well, that's it. Then you kind of overlay this level of mist density over your whole map. Yep. That'd be really fun to work on that procedural generation stuff, actually, to come up with those things.
It would be.
That'd be cool.
Cool.
All right.
Click again.
Yeah. Just because I was having fun with it, I think we bring in procedural generation.
Yep.
My word is panorama.
And my word is us, which I'm going to take it as Ben and Trevor.
I don't think we've ever made a game specifically about ourselves. That's cool.
Yep.
Okay. Is this the quest for the ultimate selfie? All right, so what it is, we want the ultimate panoramic selfie at the top of this mountain. It's Mount Defiance.
Oh, nice. You brought in...
That was not convincing. Anyway, I think it's maybe like a co-op platformer kind of thing, like platform puzzler or something.
I like that.
Again, procedurally generated. We're trying to make our way up the sides of Mount Defiance, and yeah, it's sort of you need to help each other at certain points. You need to maybe a bit of reverse Spelunky in a way. You know what I mean?
Then that you start down the bottom of each level and you're going up.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you've got the procedural generation will obviously make it so that there is a way to get up there.
Yep.
But you can fuck it up. You can totally use one of your tools, whatever you've got to have some ledge break, and now you can no longer make it. And so you've got to find other ways to get up there.
Okay.
Utilizing other resources or something.
So I'm seeing that at the start of the game, Ben and Trevor, because this is one of those sort of you have to actually play it cooperative.
Yeah.
I think, Ben, because you are actually taller than I am, that maybe you can jump and reach up to things a little bit higher. But I remember things a lot more.
Well, I think you're more agile as well, because you've got the dance moves.
Because you've got the dance move. And also got the fighting background, because they've got the martial arts.
So falling rocks, you're more likely to be able to get out of the way of or something.
But I think you're stronger. So that's where you sort of got different sort of moves for each sort of character.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking though is that we sort of, instead of it being on the outside of Mount Defiance, we're actually inside Mount Defiance. That is kind of like Spelunky going through caves and that sort of stuff. You're trying to make your way up through a large set of caves, basically, to go up the mountain.
Well, I think, can we, again, similar to Spelunky, where you have sort of a different themed levels as you get through levels.
Yep.
You start on the outside.
Kind of like Celeste as well.
Yeah.
But
you start on the outside,
puzzle-based.
And you're, climbing ledges and stuff. This sort of standard kind of... Yeah, mountain climbing kind of things. And then, you find a cave after level 4 or whatever, and now you're inside and there's fucking streams of lava and...
streams of lava and...
Falling rocks.
Yep.
More rocks.
And there's kind of like this section where you sort of... You reach sort of like this peak, and then all of a sudden you're coming down again. For those people who have actually listened to the song Mount Defiance, there's sort of like this bicycle section in the middle that kind of feels like you're sort of going up and up and up and up and up, and then just sort of comes down.
Definitely have to have the bicycle section. There's just a segment. It's like after level 8, it's like a short mini game segment where you're both on a 2-seater bicycle, and
bicycle mate.
You have to cooperate to balance and stuff.
Yeah.
As you're diddle down the hill.
Oh god, that's awesome.
Hopefully that's not too in-jokey. Go and listen to the song, and you'll find the bicycle.
Yeah. But I think it's just maybe that can even be after you've taken the panorama. Now you're sort of heading down again.
Right.
This is heading down the down the mountain as sort of like the final.
The final sort of fun thing is the credits roll. I like that. And I'm picturing the sorts of moves you've got. I feel like it's pretty cartoonish. So I'm almost picturing you can set up levers, like seesaw kind of things, where one person jumps on the other side, and if they jump from high enough, they can. So Trevor has to jump on one side to throw Ben up because he's a bit taller. He's going to be able to reach that ledge, pull himself up, and drop down a rope or whatever.
Yeah.
This sort of thing. Swinging, some swinging puzzles, some pushing block puzzles. Again, Ben being stronger, or dodging puzzles that Trevor has to get through. Falling rock sections and stuff.
Yep. I so want to make this game.
I want to make all the games we talk about.
Yeah, but this one just feels like it'd be so much fun and doable with the whole idea of procedural generation again. Like,
yes,
I can just see literally using Mount Defiance as like the backing music, and it gradually builds as it goes into each part of the level. So we just sort of take a certain part of the music and just loop it.
Yeah. Well, and it's an instrumental, so it works well for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you sort of get the building, and then I think just before the cave, maybe even in level 2 or level 3, you have a storm, and that's where the classic
and that's why you want to
comes in.
That's why you want to go into the cave as well.
Yep. Yeah. You want to go into the cave to get away from that, and then I really like this idea, and the fact that the word "us" came up is just perfect.
All right. Well, you know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay Mount Defiance under that whole game, so people listening can hear exactly what we're talking about, and this won't be as in-jokey as it could be otherwise. So here we go. We're going down the hill, but we'll be right back after the hill with one final game.
Morality.
Swipe.
Oh shit!
What are we taking?
I need to find something from the previous bloody game.
Yeah.
Morality and swipe. Bicycling down a hill.
Okay. All right. Well. Oh, all right. This is Dora the Explorer tackles the trolley problem.
God.
Swipe or no swiping. But if I don't swipe, then the bike coming down the hill is going to hit 5
Jesus
people.
Jesus Christ! But if
I swipe it, it'll only kill 1.
Oh no! A Dora-themed philosophical,
totally
dilemma. Oh god! Hey kids, this is how we're going to teach you the trolley problem.
yeah. It's basically it's what's his name in The Good Place teaching Eleanor philosophy, but it's Dora and
Boots and Swiper
and Swiper.
As you're going down, like I'm picturing that, you're on top of the hill and there's all these different paths, and depending on how you choose at the start depends on what path you're actually going to go down.
It's just like a series of trolley problems.
Yeah, it's a series of trolley problems. The first one that you come across is that goddamn map, which I want to fucking kill.
The map.
I'm the map.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the
map. Fuck you.
Fuck you, map.
Yeah. See, the second that you put the map in, I've already chosen. Fucking kill that map. And on the other side, you got like Diego or something like that. So you can choose to either kill the annoying map or Diego.
Right, but it also still comes down to like, you're always making a choice, right? Like the whole thing with the trolley problem is, do you do something out of inaction or do something via direct action? So they have to kind of walk onto the tracks, right? By the time you can't stop, and now it's like, okay, here's my choice: inaction or action.
Okay, the whole thing is Dora looking at the camera,
give value
going
to these things. Yeah, that's it. Before each decision, it's like, how do you want to do this, and just staring into the camera,
unblinkingly. Go listen to like episode 4 or whatever of Two Story Dads to get that.
Oh man, the end of this episode.
Just underneath right now, Ben's going to put the entire Two Story Dads episode.
No.
No.
Just go to podchaser.com/2storydads and find it. Just search for Dora.
Yeah, so she's looking at the camera going, which way do I go?
Well, yeah, and there's silence. Blink, blink. As it's getting closer, you just see Diego screaming in the background.
It's like, if you don't make a choice...
Swipe! And then Swiper shows up and...
Swiper, no swiping. Anyway. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. I want to kill Diego.
Oh, my God. All right. That's enough weird... I think let's do one more because that was fucking weird and crazy.
And insane. Yep.
And horrifying.
3, 2, 1, click.
Right. Yeah.
Future.
What was it? Future?
Future.
Cut.
And what is our thing from the trolley problem game that you want to keep?
Oh, God.
Looking into the camera unblinkingly?
Well, maybe fourth wall breaking in that way. Like maybe talking to the player.
Okay, yep.
Because that could be kind of interesting. Future cut and some sort of
cutscenes from Back to the Future. or it's like it's a surgeon simulator style game, but it's set in like cyberpunk sort of thing.
2763, yeah.
Yep. And it's all about the body modifications and all that sort of stuff. But you see literally all the, you're seeing literally the cuts that you're doing. And you're talking to the camera as if you're actually, performing these things as almost like a tutorial.
Wait, your character's talking to the camera?
Yeah. As in, it's like...
Right.
You're a doctor and you're filming all the scenes for like the tutorial series on how to do these.
So I'm trying to picture. So is the camera like from opposite your character then? Like pointing at your character from across the table, basically, the body?
Yep.
So your character kind of looks up at the camera and talks to you, and then you're controlling each hand in some way. Yep. That's like down on the body. All right.
I'm literally just talking out of my ass here. You can change it anytime that you want.
Well, I'm trying to think. This could be a fun, goofy kind of... I love the idea that no matter how you fuck up, the doctor character just treats it as if that's what they're meant to do.
Kind of giving a running commentary of, yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, next, slice off 3 fingers and let the blood spurt all over the floor. Don't worry about... Oh, no, actually, yes, let's cauterize it.
Just a running commentary of all the different stupid things that are going on.
That are happening, exactly. As if it's exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Make an incision in the brain.
Make an incision in the brain. Deep in the brain. Deep in the brain.
So deep, yep. That you've literally cut an eye in half.
And there you have it. You have killed another patient. Now, for our next tutorial.
With your laser scalpel.
With your laser scalpel, cut off your own finger. Now, nurse, sutures, sew your finger back on so you can continue. This is all a necessary part of installing an artificial heart in this patient.
Well, it's all body modification, so it's like how to install like a digital monitor showing the beats per minute and that sort of stuff. And
yeah,
I was watching a video earlier today that had like all these stupid graphic like these LCD displays on like your power supply and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
And it's like, why? But it works perfectly for body modifications because
totally.
You have a screen on the back of your head showing like what's in your thoughts right now.
Yeah, it's just like one of those scrolling, advertisement things.
Yeah.
It's just, well, it's not what's in your head. It's just some sort of, for the people who are walking behind you, it's like entertaining or something, or it like gives you a sense of who.
I'm missing out on the latest Simpsons episode, season 300.
Yes. No, I like that though. I like, and I was kind of picturing the movements being like almost controlling, like picking up each hand with the mouse in a way. Like you sort of pick and drag a hand and it stays where you leave it. And so depending on what tool, so it's not Surgeon Simulator in the way of your mouse is directly controlling the hand and you have to press keys for the fingers. It's, put the hand over here to grab the scalpel and then, press a different button to like close the hand and then click and drag the hand back over here. But of course, everything's physically simulated. So if you don't kind of lift the hand up enough, it's just going to knock over the whole table and the doctor will be like, push the table to the ground. Ask your nurse to pick everything back up.
Okay, that's kind of creepy. I reckon we can hold it there and leave it there.
I like it. That's fun. All right, yes, I think we will end it there this week on Bitstorm. If you want to find the rest of our episodes and all sorts of other stuff online, go to podchaser.com/Bitstorm. You can check that out. You can see all our previous episodes. As I said, you can go to our creative profiles and see the shows we've been guesting on. And actually, you know what? I've just decided right this second, because we currently have a early access to our social feed going on. And so if you go to podchaser.com and put Bitstorm, all one word, into the front page to redeem your key, if you're one of the first 15 people to do that, you will get access.
Awesome. You'll have to beat me. And given that I got this code 2 weeks ago, you won't have beaten me, even though I've already got access because Ben already gave it to me.
Of course. We are also part of the 8-Bit Network, the 8-Bit Collective, and this is a group of podcasts, and we just kind of all like each other. We hang out together sometimes. It's cool. Go check them out at 8bit.net or our page at 8bit.net/Bitstorm. And, yeah, they're rad.
Mm-hmm. Coming up is PAX, and we're going to be there. So if you want to hang out, like at any time, just let us know. Let us know on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at Bitstormcast. We never give our social media plugs, so let's not start now.
They're all on Podchaser. Podchaser.com/Bitstorm. They're all there.
Okay. We'd also like you to check out the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. They'll be at PAX doing party mode again this year. So I recommend that you get along to that.
Absolutely.
If you can't get along, then just watch on the PAX Twitch channels. So right. AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network, awesome group of podcasters, all just want to help each other. No one makes any money out of it. It's more just a group of like-minded individuals who just want to help each other. So search for that on Facebook and Twitter. And finally, we'd like to thank Kuridas for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right, which featured for the first time in a game this week.
Yay!
So, thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. So, little Timmy, I'm sorry, but I wasn't able to find the medication. Because I couldn't be fucked going out in the mist. The end.
The mist! This is like a procedural mountain that we're climbing. We're like, we want to get a panoramic selfie at the top of Mount Bitstorm.
Mount Defiance, it was right there, dude.
What did you say?
Mount Defiance.
Fuck. Yes. We want to get...
cut it out and say Mount Defiance.
All right. So we want to get... Wait, let me do it because I am going to cut that out.
You can cut it out. You can cut it out as long as you put this conversation at the end saying that you totally fucked this up.
I'll put something. Yes, I'll put a version of this conversation at the end.